In the last two updates, our focus was on this major resistance level, and that was for three main reasons. The first one was that we had big imbalances, we had a bearish order block, and finally we had the psychological level at $60,000. And as long as Bitcoin remained below this level, I personally wanted to see lower prices. However, as mentioned in these updates, if Bitcoin was able to break above that resistance, then this would be a big sign of strength, and at this point I would personally flip bullish. And that's exactly what happened. On Sunday night, just a couple of hours after our update on YouTube, we got this break to the upside. And as soon as we got it, I didn't hesitate to switch my bias and update the Discord. So as you can see right there, as soon as we got the break, I updated the Discord, I saw strengths on Bitcoin, and I wanted to see a runaway gap form. Because in my view, if Bitcoin came back down to try to fill the CME gap that I talked about in the previous update, that this would actually be a sign of weakness and I would expect lower prices. In any case, I wanted to see a runaway gap and I wanted to focus on longs. And that's exactly what I did. Before going to sleep on Sunday actually, I put a limit order at $60,700. The logic behind this trade is very simple. I had three major confluences. The first one is, as I just said, a break above that resistance was a big sign of strength in my view. Second confluence was simply that we had imbalances, so usually if you take the midpoint of this candle, this will act as support, and as you can see it came in at $60,700. And finally, the main idea behind this trade was, as I said, that I wanted to see a runaway gap. So if I go over to the CME chart, you can see that this is exactly what we got. We got the gap and Bitcoin continued on moving up. For those of you who don't know what a runaway gap is a gap that doesn't get revisited at all. So in this case, for example, if we got a small drop and then a reversal, then this wouldn't be seen as a runaway gap, but it would be what we call a partial fill. In any case, again, as I said on the Discord, I wanted to see a runaway gap. That's exactly what we got, and that was pretty much the logic behind the long position that I opened right there and that I'm still holding until now. Now, this long position was a bit more aggressive, especially for my standards, because as most of you know, the way that I trade is open longs when prices are going down and open shorts when prices are going up. However, in this case, very obviously, I actually opened a long on a breakout, so when prices were going up. And that's what I quickly want to talk about. As a trader, you must learn how and when to be aggressive. This will be a very valuable skill to have in your journey. You can see that in this case, I didn't open a blind long position. I didn't open my position, for example, on the close of this candle, which would have been at $61,300. Even though I was more aggressive, I still had a very clear plan in place. As I said, I wanted to see a runaway gap. Not only that, I found a support level that I always use, and these would be imbalances. Again, as I showed you, the midpoint came in at $60,700, so I had a very clear support level. And finally, I also had, of course, a clear invalidation, which means a stop loss, which was below this candle, so right above $60,000. And that was the logic behind this trade. So at this point, if you're expecting higher prices, for example, and you want to open a long position because you've missed longs on this rise, then you can do the same thing. Build the plan, of course, this will be the most important thing, but build the plan, take an aggressive long, and most importantly, implement a take profit one. Let's say that on this job, you wanted to open a long position before the break of this low, which would have been an aggressive entry in my opinion, because usually what you would expect is prices to take out some lows and then reverse. So again, in this case, let's say that you opened a long on this candle. What you want to do is as soon as you see a move in your direction, implement a take profit one and then move your stop loss to break even. In this case, if prices drop lower, then you've made money on this trade because you've taken a take profit one. However, if prices end up going higher, then guess what? You're now in a long position instead of sitting on the sidelines. So as I said, if you want to be aggressive, build a plan, implement a quick take profit one, and then you can be more aggressive on this rise to the upside. So with that said, what do I personally expect next? First, if we go on the daily chart, I think it would make sense at this point to expect higher prices because the move out of this range, as you can see, was very impulsive. On top of that, if you take the volume profile of this range, a major level was reclaimed, which is the value area low that comes in at $63,000. And actually 2 days ago, this level was retested as support and offered another pretty nice bounce. So as usual, what levels do we have above us and what levels do we have below us? Above us, I'm only interested in one area, and this would be above this double top at $67,400. Again, we have a double top, we have the point of control, and we have a daily imbalance. And that's why personally I'm interested in this area. If Bitcoin is able to move up, let me remove this. If Bitcoin is able to move up and I see a reaction that I like, of course, then I might be interested in a short position at these levels. And above us, honestly, that's the only area that I'm looking at, and I am expecting Bitcoin to reach it, as we do have a lot of buy side liquidity above these two highs, but also actually above this high. Because what do we have? We have even more imbalances on the 4-hour chart. So this area above us right now is very interesting in my opinion. And look what's happening on Bitcoin actually right now is that it reached these imbalances on the 4-hour chart, and they are offering a bit of resistance, as you can see right here. So then below us, I'm personally just looking at one level, which I talked about 2 days ago on the Discord, and this would be, where is it? And this would be this double bottom right before reaching these hourly imbalances. As you can see 2 days ago, when we got this drop, I actually wanted to see a bounce, a retracement lower, and then a reversal to the upside. So look what happened. I wanted to see this scenario play out. We got the first drop. I wanted to see a rise above $64,000, a reversal, a test of these imbalances, and then a bounce to the upside. And I did actually trade this move. We got the rise towards $64,000. I took a short, and when we got this first job, I did implement a take profit one, as I always advise you to do. So even though I expected lower, as usual, implement take profits. It will massively boost your win rate. In this case, look what happened. For example, if I go on the 15-minute chart, it was this move that I traded. We got this drop, and as I said, I wanted to see a break of this double bottom. However, again, on this drop, I implemented a take profit one. So here, if I hadn't taken profits, then price would have came back up, stopped me out, and this would have been a break-even trade. However, because I took profits, even though prices came back up, this was still a profitable trade. And that's why, again, if you want to be aggressive, actually even if you don't want to be aggressive, implement take profits. Again, it will massively boost your win rate. So back to the levels again below us, I'm just interested in this double bottom and these imbalances. But with that said, if Bitcoin does come back down and loses this area, then in my opinion, this would be a big sign of weakness and we could expect much lower prices. However, at this point, of course, as Bitcoin is well above $64,000, there's no point talking about a much more bearish scenario. So that was mostly it for the charts. Again, I'm expecting higher prices on Bitcoin and I'm interested in this area, especially above this double top at $67,400. And below us, personally, I'm just interested in a break of this double bottom at $62,300. With that said, as usual, if you have any questions, I'm available inside the Discord. So see you soon everyone, and good luck.